Hey everyone, I'm going to make another quick video here. I wanted to go over s- kind of it's not really an addition, but they fixed the menus and folder system here in Forge. So I wanted to kind of show you some details about that I noticed. So when you're in Forge on controller, you hit X and you can come in here to the menu. Well, what they added in one of the last updates is the ability to expand all for the menus and then um, collapse them. So right now, if you're on controller and you click in the right thumbstick, it actually expands all the menus. And then if you click it in again, it collapses them. So that's one of the best parts, especially if you're on controller. The way they design these menus is really horrible in my opinion because most of the time you just have like hit the B button to go up a menu, but instead they have you scroll across the entire planet. So anyway, if you have stuff open and you're trying to find what you need quickly, you can just click it a couple times till it's collapsed. They also fixed some of the stuff in the folder system, and this is, in my opinion, even cooler. Um, so same thing works in the folder system. You can click in to expand and collapse. Now, if you're not using folders, I mean, you don't have to, but I recommend it. It's really helpful, especially when you're getting the mode set up. Things like building nav mesh. If you hide objects while you're building the nav mesh, it will help the nav mesh build better, depending on the object, obviously. But like things like foliage, sometimes the nav mesh will build around the foliage and then like have breaks in it or things like that. But if it's not a solid object, it's better to just have it hidden so that it doesn't mess with that. So if you have everything you want in a folder, you can hide it pretty easily. So let me show you here. I have the blockers. It's kind of glitchy sometimes with the visuals. Like you'll have stuff hidden and then you like run it in play mode and come back and it'll be unhidden. But it's pretty easy to fix if that happens. Like right now, I think I only have one blocker right now. Um, so if I click the eyeball here, it hides it. Click it again, it brings it back. You can actually lock an item. So if you have something selected, let's just say this tree, for example. Okay, it's not showing the tree on the list, but if I expand everything, I'm gonna back out and then go back in, and it'll actually take you to whatever, at least one of the objects you have selected, which is super handy as well. But you can lock it, which means that you won't be able to just select it and move it, things like that. Super handy if you have like a floor or like whatever you're building your map on. It's easy to accidentally grab that while you're putting stuff on it. So it's nice to be able to lock that down if you need. Um, in the menu, you can see here this little dot or square. It's filled in. It means this is selected. If I deselect everything and go into the menu, nothing's selected. You can hit X on the controller and select items. Now, when you do that, it doesn't actually select them when you leave. See, if I leave, they're not selected. This was actually changed in this last update. But if you select a few items and then go into this little settings cog and click grab selected, then it'll actually have them selected for you. I don't know where they are, but um, there's somewhere around. Oh, here we go. There's one of them. So it selects it for you. So it's helpful if there's like an object you're trying to find or, things like that. The other thing you can do if you hit A on any of the highlighted objects, it'll actually, well, that was a bad example. It'll take you to, let me go to something that is more likely to not take me into the middle of nowhere. I think volumes, okay. So if I hit A on it, it'll take me right to the volume that I want, which is super handy. You can kind of jump around between different objects by just selecting them on the menu. Um, you can see right here I have a nav cutter that's hidden. I don't know why, but I can unhide that. But yeah, in the menu, if you expand and contract, this is the root level of the menu. If you go in and build a new folder, you can call it, we'll just call it my folder, I guess. It added it right here to the root menu, but I can say move and put it inside the modes menu. So when I open that, you have my folder right there. You can delete it, you can rename it, your typical stuff you do on a computer. Um, you can also set your Active Directory. So this is one of the things that's really helpful if you want to keep things organized is let's say you're about to lay a bunch of foliage, right? Um, I have a ton of foliage here on the map. Um, if I go to my foliage folder and set it as the working folder, now anytime I place an object, it's going to go into the foliage folder for me. Now, it's great if you remember to change it. A lot of the time, I'm like ADD all over the place, so I find that there's stuff that's not in the right folders, right? Like if I wanted to turn off all my foliage, there's only some of it is in the right folder to turn it off. So one of the cool tricks, so if you expand everything, so how this works is for whatever reason, when you select items and go into the menu, if everything is expanded, it'll take you to that item. If it's not all expanded, it won't. I don't really know why it's that way, but if I come here and grab this bush and I'm going to go in and do my select all, so I have 3 bushes. If I go to the folder menu, here's the 3 bushes all next to each other, and I can go to the settings cog and move them. So when you're moving, it actually stays on the folder level, so you don't have to scroll through everything. But you can also just collapse everything if you want to quickly get to what you want. If I hit A on foliage, now, let's see, add to expand all. There they are, and they're actually in the foliage folder right here. So I have a subfolder for trees. The reason I did that was because I wanted to turn off all foliage, but the trees actually have collision, so I didn't want to turn those off because building a nav mesh, if it goes through a tree and then the tree's there, they'll try and run through the tree and they'll hit the tree. But anyway, this is I think I think you get the gist, but really really handy. I find that it's a little weird that sometimes it's not expanded when you want it or vice versa. But if you just click the thumbstick in a couple times, it will, it'll get you where you need to be. And I mean, it can help you keep organized. I have all my spawn points in a folder. I can actually just turn them all off if I want to work around them or something. Got my spawn points right here. If I turn them back on, there they are. So anyway, I'll end it here so I'm not rambling, but hopefully you found something useful in this. It's just one of those little things that's probably not explained very well. There's not really a manual, but wanted to share that it's an option if it helps you out. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys all have a great day and take care.